Today I have a new stock for you, Aquestive Therapeutics. They currently have a stock price of $4.26 and they are valued at just under $400 million. Aquestive Therapeutics holds some patents which they are currently making some money from. They recently got a new drug called Libervant, FDA approved, and they have other exciting things in their pipeline. Today I'm going to be going through what I think the bull and bear points are for this company, as well as going through some upcoming catalysts. At the end, I'm going to be talking about the stock price and where I think that might be heading. So first of all, let's take a quick look at the financial health of the company. You can see here they've had a fairly consistent revenue over the past 2 years. It has jumped up this quarter and that was due to some one-off revenues, so I wouldn't look at this as a growth quarter. They also did mention this in their ER, saying that they would expect their loss for this year, the EBITDA loss, to be around 20 to 23 million. So you can see they are expecting to go back to losses for the rest of the year. And then of course the net income here loss is a bit higher than that. So probably expecting a net income loss this year of around 40 to 45 million. They do, however, have some money on the balance sheet. The latest ER said they had the 90 million in cash, which you can see here as well in Seeking Alpha. So they do have a runway until at least 2026. So going back to Tikataco, I'll go through the ball points, but I did want to mention that they have a manufacturing arm for this company. This seems to revolve around the patents that they have for the film, which allows for the drugs to be released at a specific pace. On top of that, they have these ball points here, which I've listed in order which I think their priority are. And the biggest one here is the Anafilm potential. Anafilm is a potential replacement for the EpiPen. So the EpiPen have been around for years and saved lots of lives, but they are at the end of the day a syringe, and the epinephrine inside of this is at risk of degrading. So Anafilm will replace this with a much more portable and durable system. So if we click in here, we can see that Aquestive have said that they are expecting this to be around a $1 billion market, which if they were able to achieve this would obviously make them a highly undervalued company at this moment. There are, however, two bear points to this. The first is that there's been a competitor recently approved. This competitor is called Neffy, and this is a nasal spray. But as I mentioned here, I do think that Anafilm is a superior product to this. It's going to be much more portable, and I think portability is a very big issue, whereas Anafilm is about the same size as a plaster, so it's going to be much more easier for people to take that wherever they want to take it, and it should be more robust as well. So I do think Anafilm has the upper hand here, but you never want to see a competitor in the market. That's always going to take some market share away from you. And on top of that, they have the first to market advantage. They are going to be at least 1 year ahead of Anafilm, so that might actually give them more market share than they otherwise would have got. The other bear point I will mention for this is that Anafilm is still yet to be approved, so issues could happen with this, but they've had really good results so far, and it's just another delivery method for epinephrine. So I hope that the path to FDA approval is smooth, and at the moment that's currently predicted for the first quarter of 2025. So next in the list is the Libervant potential. So at the moment this is only approved for ages between 2 and 5. They do have a new trial running for this, and they're hoping to increase this to people over the age of 12. In its current state, they only think it's going to be worth about 5 million a year in 2025, but if they do get the FDA approval, then they're hoping this could be a 100 million plus product. Again, this would see a significant increase to the stock price of Aquestive. However, this does depend on FDA approval, and FDA approval does look like it's going to take a while. They're looking for that to happen around 2027. So another thing that they have on the list is the AQST 108. So this is going to be a topical gel for epinephrine, and they're hoping that this is going to be worth over $400 million. However, this is still a very long way away. We can see here very early stages. They're hoping to enter phase 2 in 2024, and they're expecting a launch not before 2028. So this is quite far down the road, and this is why it's a bit further down my list. But it's always good to have things in the pipeline, and hopefully that will get FDA approval. So the next thing that they have is the Adrenoverse platform. And the reason that I've added this in, and it's quite exciting, is because in the last ER, they hinted that potentially they have found something very interesting for investors. So we are all now waiting for Investor Day to come around so that they can tell us what they have discovered. So the Adrenoverse is a library of epinephrine candidates for absorption and conversion, and it's where Anafilm came from. So hopefully they might have other big products in the pipeline there. So I have put this as the lowest priority on my ball points. So as with any company, there are some bear points to investing in this company, and the top one that I have chosen here is the cash runway is low. So with their recent earnings, they reported that they have $90 million left in cash, and they're expecting an EBITDA loss this year of between $20 and $23 million, and that should probably be around 30 to 35 net income loss. So considering it's going to be about a year and a half before they launch Anafilm, it looks like they're going to need some additional funding for that launch. So another bear point that I've added here is that they do have an at-the-market facility, and that means that they're probably going to be diluting shares in order to get those additional funds that they need later on down the road. And considering there's been a sharp uptick in the stock price at the moment, I wouldn't be surprised if they're doing it now, or maybe they do that around the Investors Day event. So the next thing on the list for bear points would be that the commercial collaborations seem to be stalling. Now, if you take a look at the financials for this, they really haven't changed that much in the last 2 years. And it does seem actually in the last year it could even be reducing slightly for this. Now, let's not forget that this is the main source of income for them at the moment. So if this were to drop, we would see that cash runway running out much faster than it currently is. So that brings me on to the catalyst for the company, and this is one of the things I really like about this company. There's quite a lot of upcoming catalysts, and there's a good chance that most of these are going to be positive. So we got the end of the phase 3 for Anafilm, and that's expected around the 30th of September. I think they said towards the end of Q3 and the start of Q4. And then Investors Day, they haven't set a date for that either, but they've said that's going to be in a few months' time. You can see that the tilde here means that it's an estimated date. And then they've got the Anafilm NDA submission, which they're hoping to have around the start of next year. And then the Anafilm launch, which is expected around the start of 2026. And then the Libervant anticipated FDA approval, which is around the 1st of January 2027. So this is quite a lot to look forward to for one company, and if all of these are positive, then I'm sure they're also going to have a positive effect on the share price. Okay, so talking about share price, if we go to StockTwits, we can see it has gone up quite a bit recently. So this was on the 2nd of July and it was at just under 250, and it's now at 430. So this is a significant increase in the stock price in the last month and a half, which actually rightly reflects the ER that it's had in that time and additional news. It has been quite positive. However, given that they do need to raise funds, I would be a little bit concerned at these levels that they might try to do that at this point. Another thing that I'd be worried about is the next ER, because on the previous ER they had positive EBITDA, and I think that's going to fall back to negative EBITDA, and in fact the company is forecasting this as well. I do think, however, that this stock is still cheap. It looks like the Anafilm is almost guaranteed to be approved, and it looks like it's got a really good shot of hitting that 1 million plus mark. If it does do that, then we could see this company turn into a $2 or $3 billion market cap. And then if it also gets the approval for the AQST 108 and the Libervant, then this could turn into a $4 or even $5 billion company. So it's really looking quite cheap at these prices. I would say, however, that I don't expect this to be a smooth ride. It looks like it's going to be a year and a half before they even launch Anafilm, and then of course they're going to be spending a year launching that, which is going to increase their costs significantly, and it's going to take a while for them to reach profitability. However, if you're willing to take that risk and happy for short-term loss to make a long-term gain, then I really do think this could be a multi-bagger. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave any comments if I've missed anything or you'd like me to include anything more in Tiki Taco. Have a good day.